this instant display of elements for all web UIs. There are applications that take times to load, that takes time for their element to be clickable, and so on, right? And so that is the essence of the timing you have to put there, so that by the time it gets there, it will not now be looking for your element, and if it doesn't find it, it will fail. And you will start wondering, is it my code? Is it the application? All right. So yeah, that is the essence of what wait time. And this is how Selenium defines it. There are the manual.timeout dot implicit wait, and then you put the what? The time unit in seconds. I think time units can also be in minutes. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it can be in seconds, days, hours, microseconds, milliseconds, minutes, and so on. Hmm. So we just use seconds. I wonder if an element takes 10 minutes to load, what kind of application that will be. In terms of performance, that is so not it. Okay, so usually we just stick to what the seconds because of course we are quality engineers and we don't want applications that will be dragging. We want if anything it should load, it should do everything what in seconds. Okay, now let's proceed. No, before we proceed, we also talk about assertions, right? I've not reviewed that part. So we said that in order to be sure that the expected result is what it's the actual result you see on your web page, just like you do in your manual testing, we use assertions to confirm the truth. Okay, so when you see something like assert true, assert equals, you want to check if maybe a text is as displayed, just like what you see here, is displayed, get text, is equal, expected, comma, actual, and a lot of other things you will explore on your own as time goes on. The most important thing is for you to understand the basics of what this does, right? Okay, so that is the essence of what assertions. And this assert true is directly from TestNG. Okay, so when we imported them, the TestNG library, yeah, right? We what's the name now? We are we are assessing the assert, all right? The assert library from what? From TestNG, and then from the assert library, we are assessing what? The assert true class, all right, from assert. And then there's also the assert equals, and there is more. So if I say assert, okay, now see I pressed assert and I can see more. There's assert true, there's assert equals, um assert not equals deep. There's assert not equals on its own. Assert not equal. There's assert true. There's assert not null. There's assert same, and so on. Okay. So that's for you to verify or that the actual result you are expecting is what I mean that the actual result you get is as expected. That is what verification. I think I also said something about validation. Validation comes into play, especially when you are dealing with user authentication and maybe some API authentication. So you want to validate that some of the responses you are getting is as expected. For example, in this project, we had login test, right? So we had login test where we discussed some users, standard user, although for because this is a test site, we might not know what the standard procedure for password writing is. I sent us a link regarding how you as an automation engineer, how you do validation in just one method, just one or two methods, and you are done. You are not trying to say to check for invalid username, and then no, you just say invalid username, correct password, incorrect username, correct password, and all of those things that you do when you are doing manual. You don't need to do all of that. You just need to write one method that checks all of that, and then you call them in your test cases. When you are calling them, you are saying for valid user, so, for invalid user, so, and that is it. Or for any other users you find in your test case, in your scenario, as the case may be, you call the what? The validation method, and you are done. So let's move on to today. Today we are looking still into, I've mentioned the things we are looking into today, so we will quickly just go into them. So last week, I think we got to this part where we said add to cart, but we didn't do the remove from cart, and we didn't do this other parts that also talk about remove. Okay, this one I think is almost the same thing. So we just do one remove, and then maybe do a checkout and a continue shopping. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So we'll come back here to our inspection. So we have mappings, source demo mappings. Okay, someone said, can we separate these mappings based on maybe the test scenarios or based on pages and all of that? Yes, you can separate them. So it depends on the project you are working on, how voluminous it is, and all of that. So, but I will put all of this in one page so that we can easily access it. This is a small test project. So let's inspect one of the, okay, we did cat button. Is this cat link, is it correct? Last time I checked, this is this cat here. This cat here, let's see how it works. Okay. So when you're inspecting, you click right on this inspect icon, and then click on the element you are trying to inspect, then it will highlight it for you. Okay, so highlighted here you have, what do you have? A link, a shortcut link. So I can copy, let me see, what did we use the last time? Let's try to use this expert. I don't know what we used. Okay, we used link test. I'm not sure this link test worked the last time. So let's see if we can use expert. We've not used expert in any of our work yet. So hopefully we can use expert now. Okay. Oh, this expert is not going to fly. It's too long. But I like the expert that this thing is suggesting for me because it's going to pick the ID and the span. Let me see. Oh no, not this page. The ID. What's the ID? Do we have an ID here? No. Do we have a span here? Yes. We have a span class. And then we have this A here, A class. And I think that is all. Well, no, normally if you click on this, let's go back to this page here. Let's go back to, to continue shopping. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to continue shopping and inspect. Okay. So, shopping cart link. Okay. Okay, just in case. Mm. Copy. Okay, so I love this, but I know you guys are going to ask a lot of questions. So I'm going to remove it for now. I think it's going to fly with that though, but um let's see everything that is here. Partial link. It's not a link test. I think it's a partial link. Partial, partial link. That's good. It's there. Okay, partial link test is a text. Is a text, and there's no text here. Okay, so let's see another thing we can use. Let's look for another element picker we can use. Um, um, aha. There's a shopping cart container here. Shopping cart, batch, span. Aha. There is. Okay. There is a. Aha. So this is it here. So we can use this ID. This is still highlighting it. So let's use this ID instead. Aha. Yeah. You know the reason because I saw my IntelliJ suggesting a shopping cart container, and most of the time when you see CSS selector, it's always like the hash of the ID. As time goes on, as you use elements, you will understand what I'm saying. Okay, so we have, let's use that ID. I think we're not inspecting it very well before. Yep. So finally, I get something more accurate here that you can also see here. Okay. Let's hope this will work. Mm, Except that it is telling me to add more. Yeah, because this container, you see this container, it does not only highlight the cart. I think it also highlights the entire container, the length, length. That it highlights this entire line. And we want it to be specific on this element. So what happens is when you are defining your web elements, you go deep in. So after this ID, there is a span. And then from the span, we have, let's see, from the span, we have the hyperlink, the A. Forgotten what name they call this A in HTML. Okay, so we have the A, we have the span, and with that we can be directly linked towards the shopping cart badge, because we don't want it to just highlight this entire line alone. We want it to be specific on this cart, not just the length of this container. So I'm going to take this suggestion here and say shopping cart container, the A and the span. Let's go. The A and the span. Okay. So yeah. And then I will have my exact, because the span is directly inside the A, and the A is directly inside the div. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's what it means. The span in the A in the shopping cart container. So we have the cart button. What other thing do we need? We need We need the remove button. The remove button has an ID, remove source lab backpack. And it has a class this. So I'm going to go for the ID, definitely, because it's always quite more accurate. No, this is how the accuracy goes. From ID to CSS, from CSS to experts. Most of the time, you find your accuracy that way. So always, if there is ID, you go for it. If there's CSS, you go for it. Or expert. Okay, this is not what I'm doing. I'm doing ID. ID equals, I've copied it already. So that's for the remove button. It's even suggested the remove for me. Okay, so I have, let's close this one. I have the remove button. So nothing do I want to do. So once we click on this, so once we click on this card, I hope the remove is the same as this remove. Let's see. Is it the same as this remove? This is ID remove source lab bolt t-shirt. It's not the same. Good. So wait, what was the ID that we inspected here? Remove source lab backpack. So it's the same remove button. So I'm not going to inspect it. I will just call the same remove button. See, remove source labs backpack. Remove source lab. Oh, it's not the same. Bolt t-shirt. Okay, let's see. Let's go back. Go back to shopping. So this remove here is backpack remove. And this remove here is what? Bolt t-shirt remove. Okay. So let's rename our button. Remove backpack button. Okay, so since it's not the same, remove. So what other thing? So let's see. Continue shopping. Continue shopping. We have ID continue shopping. So let's pick this. Copy. Find by ID. ID what? Continue shopping button. Okay. Oh God. No, no, no. Okay, so continue shopping button. Mm, let's just stop there. If you continue shopping, it will take you back to product. And if you remove, for example, and then you click back on your cart, you should be sure that your stuff has removed. Let's see if we can do one assertion here. Where should we put the assertion? Okay, there's checkout. Let's do checkout. Checkout. Checkout is checkout. ID checkout. Look at it here. ID checkout. So let's do checkout. Oh my god. So ID checkout is ID checkout, and we have the checkout button. Okay. No, now when you check out, what is the expectation? Oh God, I'm just looking on the printers. When you check out, what is the expectation? Okay, so we'll now validate that if you click on what? If you click on the checkout, then you can see your checkout information. So let's do this one. Checkout information, the title, the data text, title, and your what? Check your information. So we have, what should we use? We can do get text for this. I will confirm that this get text that our system is getting is the same as um mm, 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 what's title. Let's just see if I can copy CSS selector instead. Okay. Add find by add find by CSS selector. Sorry. CSS first. Course this. Okay. Then check out page title. So we are going to find out if you know what we are doing. What we are doing is we are trying to make our WebDriver to do what? To find this element. And once it finds that element, it will produce an action. Either is a click, a get text, a send key, and so on. And then after that, what happens? Then we validate. Is this the right output, right? And so on. So that is the process. Now we have all our web element mappings, our mappings here. Now let's go to our pages. These are all the methods we have written so far for this source demo. Um, so we have all of this. Now, what do we want to do next? We want to click on the remove back button. It has even suggested it. You know the reason this is suggesting this? It's suggesting this because we already have something like this in the mappings, right? So we can go on and accept this suggestion. Um, by the way, this is the place of AI code suggestion. I will explain better by the end of this training. How you make use of code completion and some other plugins on your IntelliJ. Yep. Okay, so we have click remove back button. Mm. And there's another one. Click checkout, click continue shopping, and maybe click this. So we have done click on card button the other day. Okay, so you can say continue shopping and checkout button. Now the last one will be the one we want to assert. The one we want to assert, when you check out, you want to assert that your checkout information is here. So what do we have? We have return get text. I already said it. We can use get text. Yeah. Okay, so it will get that information. So the text is going to get is this check out your information. That is the text. Okay. I think that's all for the methods. Now, how do you write your test? I said it last time. In your test, you follow what? Your test steps. This is where the place of manual test cases writing, this is where it comes into play. Where's my test? So we have the add cards test. We have the login and the logout. So in the add card, I can add more tests here and say, okay, so let's see, did this one work? We logged in with the user We click on the login button, we confirm login text. We click add to cart button and then get the price of backpack. Let's run this again. So this test is to get the price of backpack or what? Because if it's just to add to cart, then we will just stop at add to cart. Let's see what this is doing. It's supposed to execute on Firefox. I have so many things open. Hey, now it's up. Let's see. Okay, so it successfully got. Okay. Since we are not returning the price of backpack, I will remove this line. The title of that text is what? Is what? To add to cart. So it will stop here. Now let's write another text to say remove from cart. I will call this one test source demo remove from cart. Remove. Okay. I have removed from cart. So where will my action start from? Click on the login button, get confirm login text, click to, let's see, what does the manual process look like when you want to remove from cart? Okay, this is how it goes. So you click on the cart and then you click on and then you remove. So we will do the same add to cart. It will get to here, to this place, because you have to add first before you remove. So you click on the remove from cart. Does this not exist? Remove backpack button. Then why is this giving me error here? Okay, so let's look at the method. Remove, click. Oh, this is the method. Okay, let's just copy and paste it directly. Okay, so that's the method. So we expect it to do what? To log in to get the login test, blah, blah, blah. Click to add first. Then when you click on add button, what happens? Then you click on the cart. We have to click on cart first before we now remove, right? So what is the method to cart button? Oh, sorry, let's go and check again. What is click cart button? Um, click add to cart. I think this is it here. This is it here. Should be cart icon though. We can rename that. Okay. So we have. So click on the card, then remove. I think that's how it works. Then remove. Let's do that again. Continue shopping. You come to something like this. You add. You come here, and then you remove. Okay. So let's see how this works. Mm, So when we are done writing this test, I will show us how you execute this on your TestNG XML. Um, I hope it's not trying to fail. Okay, it is done. Okay, so it's trying to fail. Okay, unable to locate. Yeah, we have issues with this cat location. Okay, so let's go back to. Can you read the error? No such element exception, unable to locate element this. You already know what the element is. Are we following? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we have this one here. We have this one here. Let's go ahead and check what other thing method we can use. I think this was the one that took us time to inspect the other time. It's the one that took us time to. So let me just copy. I hope this one will work. I'm open so um CSS selector. CSS selector. Mm, yes, CSS selector. Paste. Let's run this again. See what happens. Okay, beautiful. So it works well this time. Interesting. So every time you see that the way you inspect is not so good, try it again and again. There is no way. I think we made a mistake earlier. Once you click on your, once you load this your dev tools, what you will do is to exactly click on the element. And what I did right now was to do what to just right click and copy the CSS selector. Most of the time, the CSS selector are the most sure way to get the right elements. Okay, web elements. So yeah, and that was what we did. So let's continue. I think we have that test case done now. The next test case should be um the next test case should be okay, so remove from card. So we can say sorry. We can say add remove continue and check out. Yes, continue and check out. So we have continue continue shopping. Okay, so for continue shopping, you see continue only after you have added something to cart, right? So we can remove this line because you don't need to remove. You just need to be what? Click on the cart button, then click on what? The continue. Click on the continue button because that is how it works. Click on the cart button, then click on continue shopping. Let's see. Click on continue. Where did this error come from? Okay. Okay, yeah, we have to change this test name. This one is going to be what? Continue shopping button. Continue shopping button. continue shopping. After today's class, I'm going to release this code to us so that you can have something to start with for your project. Okay. Yep. Actually, I will do the releasing in the class so that you guys see how we push things to GitHub directly. Okay, so we have this, even though we will still do CI/CD parts in June. But okay, continue shopping. So let's execute continue shopping. Let's see how it works. I should close these multiple instances of Firefox driver. Okay. So did it get there? Oh no, I should not have closed that one. Okay, so did it get there? Yeah, I think we got there. We got it to continue shopping. Great. Let's run it again. I'm not sure I saw it. Okay, so what's this thing asking for? Installer. This thing is running. Okay, seems. Oh, could not start the session. Oh, I was typing inside the code. Okay, let's try. Let's execute again. All right. I was only trying to start the Firefox browser again. I think that was what caused all that. Source, source. Let's go. Okay. Now let's see what this thing is executing. Yeah, pretty fast. Pretty fast. So let's do checkout. Checkout. Checkout also, we follow the same principle. You add first, then you click on the cart, and then you check out. Except that for checkout, we have an assertion to. So I have checkout. Checkout. So for checkout, login, click on article, click on car button, click continue shopping button. So there will not be continue shopping, but there will be checkout. Click on checkout, and don't forget we said that we said something about the continue. Let's log in. Um, okay, so when you add and then you click and then you mm, and then you continue. Oh, sorry. What are we doing? What are we? Check out. And then you check out. And then you check out. Then you do what? You confirm this. So I can say assert, assert. Yes, I can use assert equals. Assert equals. Okay. I can say assert equals. Hmm. Now assert equals. Now, what is the name of the method that gets that text? It is this one. So what do we do here? We come here and say, hmm, what's on my copy? I guess I didn't copy it. So it is on the source page dot. Ah, it is on the source page dot this method. We are calling this method, remember? Okay, yeah. And then now when you say equals, it means that we want to confirm that this test that this thing has gotten by itself is the same as what I am writing here. And what am I going to write here? What I'm going to write here is this. Okay, so I'll confirm that the text it gets is what is the same, is equal as this. Now, let's execute this test. Then we'll move to the explicit weight I wanted to explain. Um, okay, so we have that. Good. Now, talking about explicit weight, last week we talked about implicit weight. However, Selenium has is what? Explicit weight. So you must know that every automation framework or language has the way they define their what? Their implicit weight and explicit weight. But all the same, generally, the kind of weight you have is what? Implicit and what? Explicit. And this usually comes up in interviews. So you need to understand. Now look at this explicit weight. See how it is defined. Explicit weights are loops added to the code that poll the application for a specific condition to evaluate as true before it exits the loop and continues the next command in the code. If the condition is not met before a designated timeout value, the code will give a timeout error. Since there are many ways for the application not to be able to be in the desired state, explicit weights are a great choice to specify the exact condition to wait for in each place it is needed. Another nice feature is that by default, the Selenium wait class automatically waits for the designated element to exist, which is the exact opposite of what? Implicit. I said last time that if you're using implicit, if the element will not if the element will not load or appear at that time, it will not. Why? Because it does not exist, right? But when it comes to explicit, it will what? Wait until it sees that what? The desired state is achieved. That is, the element is maybe displayed or clickable or appears or whatever. Now, explicit wait. Another condition is if the condition is not met before the value times out, if you have put a second, 2 seconds. So if it does, if the condition of the element appearing or the element becoming clickable or something, if it or the element becoming visible or whatever, if it is not met, then it's going to time out and what? Give you error. It give you a timeout error. So there are many ways for you to achieve your desired state. Explicit way are a great choice to specify the exact condition to wait for in it. So usually, explicit wait is what is advised. Now, look at how Selenium defines its explicit wait. It says WebDriver wait equals to new WebDriver wait. That and then it's taking parameter driver and then duration of what? Seconds. Seconds, I think we also have of minutes of hour, just like the one we have the other time unit of seconds, of minute, of hour for what? For implicit wait. This one we have duration of seconds, of minute and all. So let's see. It says full example is on GitHub. Okay, so they are just showing us how it was used here. Get this element, review the ID, shine the element by this and click, then wait for a while for 2 seconds, and then until the element is reviewed that this is visible, then send keys and say it's displayed. So usually, I think we have like, is it 3 states? Wait till element is visible, wait till element is clickable. Then which other one? I think there is one more there for which you wait for. All right. Now let's see. Let's see how we do this. So we can come here in any of our methods, just like the way we wrote implicit wait here, right? Where did you try implicit wait? Yes. So let's use the same thing. Let's use the same thing. I will just sorry. I will comment this out and add implicit wait. Yeah, if element to load implicit wait. Yes, this is implicit wait. Now the other one is explicit wait. Explicit wait. Now, so this is how it defines it. In case you are confused with all this, what's the name now? I can write it in a better way. For those of us whose Java is not advanced yet, just say WebDriver with, yep, equals to, I prefer this. Okay. So WebDriver, you already know your WebDriver. Your WebDriver is what? Your WebDriver class. Yeah. So we have your WebDriver, and then this wait is what? The placeholder, the variable name you are giving it. So we have the WebDriver wait equals to what? New WebDriver wait. Just like the way you instantiate. We talk about this in Java. WebDriver equals to new WebDriver. Let's import this because it's from support, Selenium support. It will always highlight it for you that it needs to be imported. So with that, you import it. Okay. So, I'm not using revealed. Who is revealed? Okay, so I have WebDriver wait equals to cast. This is telling me to cast what? Cast expression to work. Change new to new. Change. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Wait dot until. Yeah. Explicitly wait. Let's use that. Wait dot until what? Um until mm, okay. I should know this. I'm confused. Oh God. Finally, this thing is giving me something I need. Okay, so wait dot, but still, we still have some errors. Hold on until the Java get title. No, that's not it. Yeah, well, maybe. Because the swag lab is on the page title. Once you log in, let's even, let's reproduce this. So this is the username. So we are trying to say, if you are logging in and the page is not displaying very fast, you can put a wait time for the element to do auto display. Though in this scenario, it displays really very fast. So, but we just want to test. Okay, what's this? Is that my password or not much? Okay, so wait until you see Swag Labs. Java.get title dot equals Swag Labs. But I have a problem here. Wait dot get. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, Java.get title cannot compatible types. Okay. Cannot resolve method get item. Hold on. Right. Let's try this again. WebDriver with WebDriver, WebDriver with. Hmm, WebDriver with. Mhm. Web dot until what? Until um until visibility. Okay. Yeah. I don't even want any system log out. Okay, I think I like this one. But okay. So look at this, for example. we have the WebDriver width. Now, you know what I did? Now, this WebDriver width is what we want to instantiate. Initially, I wanted to use WebDriver, WebDriver directly from Selenium, but the code is complaining about incompatible types. That is, if I'm using this, then it's not compatible with the WebDriver width that is from support.ui. So what did I do? I had to remove this entirely and just use WebDriver width directly. And that is what we have done here. WebDriver width equals to new WebDriver width. In Selenium, yeah, I think a lot of improvement have happened. I think they used WebDriver width and then WebDriver width, but it's not compatible, and that was why we got error when we followed this. Okay. So now I have the same WebDriver width, right? Now, what I have done now is, when you ask it to wait, you are waiting for the element to be what? To be visible or to be clickable or whatever action you want to perform on that element. Now, what we are doing is we want to wait until it is visible. That is, as soon as you log in, where is it here? As soon as you log in, you want to wait until Swag Labs is visible on this page. And we talked about get title the very first time we started this class. I said to get title is usually where in the first part of your HTML. You want to get the title. Okay. A page title. I don't know why I can't see it very well here. Let me use Chrome. If I use Chrome, I have so many things opened. Okay, so source lab. Let me use Chrome too. Yep. Get the page title. Swag Labs. Okay. Title is not even here in this one. Is it? Okay. So it should be here. Well, it's not here. Okay. I guess it has been hidden by CSS. Maybe CSS has hid it or something. Okay. 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 So we can use, of course, get title to get the title. I think the one we did the last time was I think the one we did the last time. Don't take me there now. Where is it again? Swag Labs. Okay, so I think the one we did the last time was Selenium Web Forms. Yes, I remember. Selenium. What is that page again? Is here. So we inspected this and yep, this is the page title web form, which we got directly. But I'm wondering why there is no title. So when you say driver.get title, this is what it means. You want to get the title of this web page, you have what web forms here. If you do the same thing here, I'm supposed to see it here. Oh, it's here. It is here, guys. Okay, I guess I didn't just see it. Okay, so we have Swag Labs, title Swag Labs. Okay, so we are saying that once you log in like that, you for page load time, we give it a 10 seconds and then it will do what? It will get the title and return what? Swag Labs. So let's see how this one will work. This should be what? Click login button. I think this should fall under the login test. Login test. Okay. So if you execute this test now. Okay. So what do we have? Get title. Okay. I didn't ask it to. Okay. I think I understand. Input username, password. Click login button. Click login button. And let's see. Um. mm, oh, okay. I think the issue we are facing right now is that this application itself is very fast. It's not going to have, it doesn't have any page load time, but this gives you an heads up to know how to use what the explicit with. Now, there is another thing before I jump from explicit with to talk about your project. Before I leave the explicit with, there's another thing we need to look into. Let's see. Um, not this one, not this one, not this one, not this one. Okay. Hmm. I just want to be sure I'm not omitting anything before we move on. Okay. Okay. I guess when I remember we will go there. I forgot something and I'm not sure. I think I remember. So there is something called interrupted exception. Yeah. So we've talked about element not being visible, some element taking time to be visible. Another thing is that some elements might be overlapping on other elements. And when you inspect, you will see the one that is under, but by the time you run your test, you will discover that another element is what is covering it up. So when it comes to this kind of case, we call it element click intercepted exception. Okay, intercepted exception, but I don't know. It's intercepted exception I want to do or interrupted exception. I think I'm searching for interrupted exception. Interrupted. Interrupted. Interrupted exception. Da, 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 da. Exception. I wonder why it is not here. Exception. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to explain is this. When you use the interrupted exception, you can actually make the process to sleep for a while. We call it thread.sleep. Now, how does this work? Let me just go straight to maybe Google so that because I don't know what I'm looking for here, that it's interrupted exception. And what? Thread. No, Java sleep and interrupted exception. Oh, no wonder I can't see it in Selenium. It's totally Java stuff. Okay, let's see. This is how it works. Hold on, let's try cache. Um, okay, so while you are waiting for an element to be clickable or visible, sometimes it can be interrupted maybe by the system infrastructure, by some pop-ups, by some other, exceptions on the system, right? So sometimes this kind of thing can happen. And when it happens, you make use of what? Um, See, let's read this. When a thread is waiting for a monitor lock and is trying to access a code block that is locked by some other thread, it enters what? The block state. A thread can be put into the waiting state by various events, such as a call to wait method. In this state, a thread is waiting for a signal from another thread. When a thread either finish execution or terminates abnormally, it will wind up in terminated states. All these ones are just the process that happens behind the scene. So what is an interrupted exception? The interrupted exception is thrown when a thread is interrupted while it is waiting, sleeping, or otherwise occupied. In other words, some codes are called interrupt method on our thread. It is checked, it is some code called interrupt method on our thread, it's a checked exception. And many blocking operations in Java can what? Can throw it. So when you have such kind of interrupt, you use thread.sleep. So threads may block several reasons, may be blocked for several reasons. All right. Now thread.sleep, waiting to wake up from a thread.sleep, waiting to acquire a lock, something. The other exception is usually thrown by all blocking methods so that it can be handled and the corrective action can be performed. Several methods in Java throw interrupted exception. These include thread.sleep, thread.join, the wait method, and the object class. So the fact that we treated wait now makes me remember that there's also something called thread.sleep. Now, this thread.sleep, the way it works is when an element that is to be clickable or visible becomes what? Interrupted, becomes blocked, becomes interrupted, and so on. Then it means that you have to introduce a wait time. So this wait time is the time it will use to sleep until the element becomes visible or clickable or accessible for the user or for the Chrome driver or the driver that is being used at this point. That is the explanation. Now, how do you make use of thread.sleep? Usually, you pass what? The interrupted exception. Let's see. We can pick on any of our tests here. Let's pick on this one here. So, usually when you want to use thread or sleep, assuming I want to pass a thread or sleep here. Ooh, thread dot sleep. I will say sleep for 2000 milliseconds. 2000 milliseconds is shorter than seconds, right? Milliseconds is shorter than seconds, right? Am I right? Hey, is anyone in the class?
Yes.
Yeah. So, because of that, now I talk about exceptions now. So if you pass this now, you will see an error. It will tell you to add exception to method signature. That is, you pass this to your method here. Throws interrupted exception. Once you pass this to your method here, it will understand that you want this thing to sleep at this point. Let's assume there is another method here. So it's going to sleep for this number of um seconds or milliseconds before it performs the next action, right? So that's what it means. It literally just what sleep. Why? Because it has encountered maybe something that is blocking the element from being interactable, from being visible, or from being clickable or something. So it's going to sleep and then move on to the next thing after when the time expires. Okay, it's also another form of what? Wait. So session of sleep, always wait the full duration. We could slow down your test or test script unnecessarily. So the smarter one is what? The WebDriver wait, which is the explicit wait we just finished talking about, is the smarter way. Because once the element becomes visible, no matter the length of time you put it, for the explicit wait, talking about the explicit wait, once the element becomes visible, even if you put 1000 seconds, it's going to do what? It's going to go ahead. But when you use sleep, it's not going to go ahead. It's going to finish the countdown all the time you put there. It's going to finish it. Okay? It's going to end it before you do those, or before it moves ahead to the next thing. And that's the difference. And that's why it's always advisable to do what? To make use of what? The explicit wait. Okay, now let's see how. I think I'm done with wait things now. Let's see how this one perform. Uh, okay, what's this one supposed to do? Okay, let's assume we put this sleep time before it clicks the button. Okay, let's assume this is what is happening. Mm. Okay, anyway, milliseconds is really very short. If you put something more, much more, then it's going to be delayed that for that much more length of time. Okay. And what about this? I've increased this to 50,000. It means that before it gets to add to cart, it's going to wait for that length of time. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. This is the 50 seconds it's trying to wait. Can you see? On a normal day, it's going to be fast and just add to cart, right? But right now, it is waiting. It's going to wait the entire time, even when this thing is already visible. So it's not efficient. Like, it will slow down your automation process. And one of the advantages of automation is what is speed and efficiency. So this is a wrong approach. If you are putting any thread or sleep at all, is you have to put it the right time in there. You have to put the right time in there. Easy. It has not yet add to cart. It is still running. Can you see? You're supposed to do what? You're supposed to wait this length of time before it gets to what? To add to cart. Yeah, now it has reached that time and now we are done. Okay, so you see now how this thing works. Now the next thing we need to talk about is yeah, is the use of TestNG XML. Okay, so in your let's look at this very well. So you will have your SRC here, you have your main and your what your test. Now in your resource, you can put a directory here and call it your test suite. So inside the test suite, you can say source demo.xml, source demo.xml. Hmm. The name you enter. Okay, let's create a directory first before we create directory first. Test suits. Then I will create um source demo. Okay, so for your TestNG XML, I think there should be a sample online. For your TestNG XML, okay, we are right on XML page, on TestNG page. Okay, this is how it goes. This is it. This is an example here. Oh, what is this? Okay, because it's an XML, it has its own what's the name now? Structuring. But I think that we have the suit, we have the text, we have the parameters. If you want to add parameters, sometimes the parameters can come from the test cases because yeah, it's under test. So you have conditions before you run this test. This is the email, this is the password, this is the blah blah blah. Yes, and then you can write another test and so on. Okay, so we'll run one, we execute one here. So we have the test name. I'll call this one KFit automation class. Mm, it's going to be the test name. We have one already. Source demo. It should be here. Yes, it's test source demo. Test. Okay. For now, we don't have parameters. Going to remove that, and then we have the class name. So dot qafit dot source demo project. This source demo project. No, it's going to be dot test. Yes. test source demo dot, what test do we want to run? Add to cart. So we can do add to cart test, and then we can do, so here we can run many classes. Let me just, let's say in the second one, we want to run, let's see, do I want to run in the second one? Test Selenium web forms. Test Selenium web forms. Do I have parameter? But I have class name. Dot this dot test Selenium web forms dot this one. Now here we have more than one class, so we can have, we have the login. You have to get the login test and the logout test. So if you execute your this XML now, why is it not? Maybe because I didn't name it. Hold on. It's not carrying the TestNG. Okay. I guess because I didn't name it TestNG.xml. Okay, let's name this rename. Oh, I can run it actually. Because I know I don't want to name it TestNG.xml. I think I can see that I can run it. Okay, now see. It's going to execute every test in that suite. So we have, it's going to run source demo at cat. It will execute login test. Oh, how did I run it? Oh. I think I ran only only source demo. I did not run. There's something wrong with this Selenium web forms that I wrote earlier. Oh, it's running everything, guys. I think I'm just checking what look at it. 8 tests. 3 out of 8 tests. So it's running everything. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So that is the essence of your TestNG. One of the advantages. We've been seeing the advantages, right? We have seen the advantages in writing tests when we did all of these annotations. At test, there's a test, at before test, at, blah, blah, blah. And another advantage is this suite XML. So it's going to, like, combine all of your tests in one. If you wish, you can have more than one suite, and then they can all serve as per one project or as per one application and all. So by making use of the class name, you can run every test in a class. And I think there's also test name, there's parameter. There are a lot of things. It's actually a very big suite. It's not okay, so we have one test that fails. Selenium. Selenium what now? Oh, it's been long we did the Selenium web forms. What happened to it? It says get text box value. Text box value. What does that mean? Oh, the one where we send keys. Let's see. Where is that project again? Did we delete it? Okay, this is it. This one here. No, this one here. It cannot locate. It cannot locate the text box. You can't locate the text box. So that means that we have to check the mappings for text box. We used name, right? We used name. So can you see that? Let's see what really happened there. And okay. Our Selenium web forms, I think I opened it recently. Okay, yeah. So this is input. Yeah, we have class name. Yeah, look at it. So it's supposed to locate it, right, guys? Yeah, it's supposed to locate it. So what exactly is the reason? So let's see what action comes before the field. Mm, that is the driver. But we should not have any problem with the driver. But let's see if we can change this to ID. Okay, ID. And then we can execute everything again. Everything is pretty fast anyway. Oh, I didn't remove the wait time for that, for this one. Let's remove it. I'll just comment it out. And then I'll stop this and execute it again. Okay. Now, guys, while we are working on that, while this one is executing, the next thing is to discuss the project you'll be working on. Let's see the time. We don't have much time left. So it's better we start talking about. So you see this project, the class that we had last year, we on a manual testing bootcamp, we used the same project. However, we pull it down after a while. So it took some time to pull it up again this time around. And I'm not so sure if the configuration is right. There will be a lot of bugs, definitely. And that's why I'm giving us this to work on. So this is the project here. Where is the chat? Where's the chat? Where is Zoom? I can't see Zoom. Oh, I remember that okay, I remember that. Yeah, I minimized it. Okay. Now this is the project you're working on. Initially, I wanted it to be in groups, but we are not many in this class, so it's going to be individual. Now, I want to see your individual efforts on this. Let's explain. So, this project is both web automation and API automation. So, yesterday we were supposed to do this class I'm doing, and today we are supposed to do API automation today. But looking at the time now, it means we have to cover API automation next week. So, but I'm giving us this assignment today so that you have enough time to cover up At least you can start the UI automation, and then later move to the API automation. So it's in two layers, like I said. You will find more information here. You will find more information here. Do, do, do. Mm. You find more information there concerning the project and concerning how to go about testing it. The only thing you will find here actually is the manual approach on how to test it. But the automation approach on how to test it is all we have been doing in class all this while. We have done two UI so far, with the Selenium web form and the source demo. So that is going to give you enough knowledge to handle that project. And then as per the API part, there is nothing much with it. Let's see. What's this thing doing? Okay, it's still failed. We have to check this one later. This is not going to delay us. We have few minutes. Let's see if we can do something with this API automation. Now, API automation is very simple. It's just like, of course, I believe we all have. Does anyone here not know how to do API? You don't know how to test manually APIs. Can I see your hand? You don't know anything about API testing. API testing. Is there anyone like that? Hello, okay, Misola.
Yes,
Okay, you don't know anything about API testing. Just the manual
I
API
know
testing.
little.
Okay, okay. So
Yes,
maybe we should just do
just
manual
little.
API testing so that you see what because we will do the automation next week. Um, uh, yeah, I think that's kind of has delayed some of the goals for this week. Okay, so for manual API testing, a lot of us know how to make use of what? Postman. So if you go to your Postman, that means you have to download Postman, by the way. Download Postman, it's free. And then when you see, you can see this Postman here. When you log into your Postman, there are different things you're going to see on the interface. Let's quickly explain what are the things you see. There is the home page, right? There's nothing really happening here. There is the workspaces. This workspaces is where you have your project, each individual project. And if you want to add people to your workspace to access that project, this is where you do it. Okay. There's the API network. If you are building agents, if you are into backend API building and all of that, you know how to use API network. But no, you are just a QA and all of that. So you only need your workspace, right? Now, I think I'm currently here. So in your workspace, if you click on your workspace, you will see collections, environment, flows, mock server, monitor, history, blah, blah, blah. Now, your collection is the collection of what your API is. What that means is it consists of your endpoints, that is, here. This is where you put your endpoints. So an endpoint is something like this. It consists of what? Your base URL plus your endpoint. Your endpoint does not exist on its own. It's usually attached to a what? To a base URL. What is a base URL? A base URL is your URL, your domain URL that you can access directly from the HTTP server. So you say google.com. This, my friend, is what? Your base URL if you want to test Google. However, Google probably have a lot of other endpoints like slash search. Slash search is an endpoint for Google here. There's slash web HP, whatever, slash this, slash that. Now, if you are to test that, right, It means that you are going to combine both the base URL and that endpoint to test that particular endpoint. Search endpoint, login endpoint, register. Like the source demo we just worked on. There's what? The login, there's the logout, there is the add to cart. Each of this can be what? An endpoint. So when you are doing this, you put them here, the base URL and the endpoint. Now we have something called HTTP methods, right? HTTP methods. What that means is they are the different kind of test method you can carry out on your what? On this your base URL and endpoints. So we call them HTTP method. The common ones that you are the ones you see here. They get, the post, they put, the patch, delete, the add, and the options, right? Most often, all of the time, they use at least four: get, post, put, and delete. Okay? So you learn how to use it. When you are saying post, we are saying we are creating a new resource on the server. Something new that is not there before now. And usually, um when you create a resource on the server like that, what do you have? You have created, go back, go back to my workspace. Go back to my, sorry. You have created, which is what? HTTP 201. We have something called what? HTTP codes, status codes, collections. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. There's something called HTTP status codes. What HTTP status code does is it shows you the status of what? Of your HTTP. We call like now, look at this user registration, for example. You don't know anything about this, but the point is that whenever you perform an action here, you should get a response here. And also, every response should have what? An HTTP what? Status, right? And each of these statuses are different. We have from 100 to what? To 600. In fact, is it not up to 700? HTTP starter code. Look for them. 100, 101, 200, 201, 202, 300, 303, 400, 401, 404, 500, 501, 505, and so on. When you see 500, you know it is from the server. When you see 400, you know it is from the client. Resource not found, or maybe page not found, or forbidden. And you see 200, you know it is successfully created. 201, created them. 200 successful, and so on. Guys, as time goes on, you will know all of this HTTP status, but go look them up on your own. So we said when you post, you are doing what? You are creating a new resource what on the server. And when you post like that, make sure you click on send. If it is post you have selected here and you have passed your URL, then what do? You click on send. When you click on send, what happens? You get your response. Now every response has a response body, right? Now, in testing, this is where testing comes in. You want to validate the response you get. You want to be sure that it is the right response. You want to be sure that the key, we call it key value. This is a JSON, for example. Your JSON is your what? Your key value pair. It means that it is all usually consists of what? Your key and your value. What we have in here is called the value. What you have in here is called what? The key, right? So you have your key value. You have the body of your response. Now, it is not only in response that we have body, we also have body in your request. So what you are doing here is what we call requesting. You are requesting the server to help you to add a resource. All right. You are requesting a server to help you add a resource. And what you are adding? We are adding this, we are creating this user and saying for username parameter that is already on the server, Please create a new resource called Israel. For password, create a new resource called Aki. By the way, you can also pass the same as raw data, maybe raw data JSON. And when you write that, it has to be in what? Key value pair. That is something like this: username and what? Username, whatever username you want to create, comma, password. It is the same thing as the form data you saw just now. So when you are passing your request, you can either make it into your raw JSON data, or you do what? You put it into your key value form data. The form data is very simple for, especially for those coming up with testing. So you can easily just say username, you put the name, password, you put the password, you put your base URL and your endpoint, you check this and say, oh, I want to post, and then you click on send, that kind of thing. So you now get a response that say, oh, successfully signed, or oh, successfully this, oh, blah blah blah. And you also verify it against the status code here. Is it created? Is it, There's also another way you also check some stuff. If you go to the console here, usually the last request sent. Okay, so this is the last request sent. You are on register. You will see that you will find the request headers, everything. I mean, it is here too, but in this part, you get the exact information. You have the connection, the content type, the request body. You will see the request body that you pass, username, password. You see the response headers. You will see the content type is applications like JSON. You will see every kind of information that you want to see regarding this request. All right. So this is also the kind of thing you see when you inspect your web browser and you check the network part of it. There's a network. Um, not this one. When you check the request headers from the network, you check your body and all of that. You can also check it from what? From your browser, from DevTools. That's also another thing. In case you don't know how to use DevTools, we've been talking about inspect for a while now. It means that you are checking DevTools to do what? To inspect whether you're on Elements. If it is Elements, you are trying to maybe get Elements, but it is beyond Elements. From console, you are getting information from console. From network, especially, you are getting endpoints. You are getting feedbacks, requests. If you click on any of these, you will see the payload, you see response, you see preview, you see a whole lot of information about the application you are testing, right? In fact, not only that, there's also another thing called applications where you get to see session storage, right? And you see local storage and a lot of things that you are wondering how, right? So, just a bunch of a lot of things that will help you facilitate your testing process. Okay, so that is that. And if it is get, now look at get. I think there's one get here. This get here, you can also get it via your browser directly. I think the only thing you can really do on browser is post. But if you post from here, you can inspect from your browser the response. So look at this get now. This get is a method, right? HTTP method. We have passed in the request and the endpoint. This endpoint is just version 1. The base URL is qatest.qaf.at, right? So if you do this, and this is the response that gives you, welcome to School API, right? So you see that this response is 200. Okay. Yes. This one is 200. Okay. It's different from the 201 created, right? Yeah. Okay. So, they are all good. When you see 200, you see 201, they are all good responses. But there are also the negative responses that will tell you that 404 and all of the rest. and then you have to find out where the issue is coming from. So usually applications are divided into two: client to client, in fact three: client to client, client to server, server to server. Okay, now what we are doing right here now, we are getting a resource from the server, right? Now, this is like our client, and then there is a server somewhere. There's also interacting with some kind of database somewhere that when it now fetch it and then send it to the server, and then the server will now do what? Send it to us. And a lot of other things taking place behind the scene. And that's why we call it application interface testing. API is application interface testing, right? By its definition alone, see, if you ask what is API, yep. By its definition alone, I don't want all this your big definition. Yes, this is exactly what I'm trying to explain to you. Where is the image now? Okay, so this is the image here. We have the client, the internet, the API, the server. Simple. Okay. The internet is connected to the API somewhere, connected to the server somewhere, and then you are the client. Let me see if there's another image. Yeah, this one explains it better. Oh, am I hearing my voice? Okay, okay, we are almost done. The time is almost okay. So we have the end user here, we have the developers, we have the API, we have the database somewhere, which I've been trying to explain. That as a user, you get the required information from the app. What other thing? You design your API, da, 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 da. So, what we are trying to say when we are talking about API is that for this get, you are trying to retrieve information from the server. You are not doing any other thing, you're just getting. From that word get, you are getting. From post, you are creating, right? And then for put is a little bit different in that the resource already exists. It's not new, but somehow you want to add something more to it, to that same resource, right? So you put, and that is different from add. There is add too. I think there is a type in nuke. Okay. There should be hard too, but I don't know what's happening to it. So there is put, there is patch. Patch is when you are modifying a resource that exists on the server. Put already exists, but you're adding more to it somehow. And then what is it? Yeah. Those are the most delete. I know delete. Delete means delete. Okay. So it's going to delete temporarily until it is permanently delete, maybe much later, depending on what rules are set for the server and the database. But of course, on your client side, it is deleted as it should be. So that is what we have for API testing. So for your project, you will not be doing the manual, but it's good you carry it out manually maybe this weekend or before next week to check the site I sent to us, right? You can use Postman to work on the endpoint. These are the endpoints here. You can use Postman to investigate it and you'll be fine. And then next week we will go into the API testing using Rest Assured. All right, guys, that is all we have for today's class. I hope that you've been able to learn one or two things from today's class. Yeah, I see some students. I think favor. This school API is not new to you, right? It's favor in this class.
Ma, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, yeah, I
Good
know, but
evening, ma.
except that this time around it's going to be automation, not manual.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. It's nice to have you.
thank you, ma.
Okay, great. Now you see, this is how the application looks like on the interface. It has all of these things. So we are going to be doing a UI automation testing, and then by the way, it has a lot of bugs, and you guys are going to write a full page of what bug defects that you notice. In fact, let me put it inside the chat now. So in addition to your project, you will be writing also write a full, in fact, write out all the bugs with reproducible steps.